You know, when you look at this matchup on paper, you'd think blowout, right? But that's not what happened. Not even close. The real story, the good stuff, is always hidden in the numbers. So let's get into it and break down how this game got so incredibly tight.
All right, check this out. The final score, 123 to 118. I mean, just 5 points. This thing was an absolute battle right down to the wire, which, of course, brings up a really big question.
Exactly. How on earth does a 16-win team push a team that's won 38 games to the absolute limit? Well, the answer isn't just one thing. It's really a tale of two teams playing two completely different styles of basketball on the very same court. Yeah, this whole game was just a total clash of strategies. It was a classic showdown. Houston's sheer power inside versus Washington's sharpshooting from the outside. And that tension, it defined everything. So Houston's game plan was pretty clear, right? Just punish them inside. And boy, did they. Look at these rebounding numbers, 59 to 27. That is not a typo. That's just complete and utter annihilation on the glass. They more than doubled them up. And the guy leading that charge, leading that physical assault, was Alperen Sengun. The man was a beast, just unstoppable. He dropped 32 points. And he wasn't done. He also grabbed 13 boards for a huge double-double. He was basically living in the paint, controlling the game, and he was the perfect embodiment of Houston's whole strategy.
Okay, so if Houston just owned the inside, how in the world did Washington stay in this thing? Well, they knew they couldn't match the Rockets' muscle, so they tried something completely different. And you know what? It almost worked.
And this is how they did it. This was the Wizards' answer. They just went nuclear from three-point land. I mean, a ridiculous 54% from deep. So while Houston is just pounding the rock inside, Washington is just raining threes. It turned into this incredible mathematical duel. The guy leading that three-point barrage was Bilal Coulibaly. He really stepped up, scoring 23 points to lead the team. He was the spearhead of that incredible outside shooting that kept the Wizards in the game. So you've got these two totally opposite game plans just canceling each other out for 3 quarters. It was the perfect setup for what turned out to be a wild, frantic final period. Okay, now just look at that last column, the fourth quarter. Houston, you know, they're steady with 29 points. But Washington? Whoa, an absolute explosion of offense. 38 points in the fourth. You can literally see the game flip on its head right here. They just decided to go for it. Think about that, 38 to 29 in the final period. The underdog Wizards just went on this massive run, putting all the pressure squarely back on Houston. So the question is, how did the Rockets hang on? In a game this tight, with two teams doing completely different things, it always comes down to who executes when the pressure is on. So what was the final straw? What made the difference? It all came down to this, really. On one hand, you've got the Wizards' defense. They forced a ton of turnovers, 21 of them. But, and this is the big but, look at Houston at the free throw line. When the game was on the line, they were automatic. 86%, 24 for 28. Every time Washington had to foul to stop the clock, the Rockets just calmly stepped up and knocked him down. That, right there, was the ballgame. And just as a weird little side note, the original AP headline for this game had this totally bizarre and incorrect detail about Trae Young getting ejected. Just a funny little quirk to cap off a crazy night. So let's wrap this up. What a game, right? A total clash of styles. You had Houston's inside dominance, led by Sengun's monster night, facing off against Washington shooting an unbelievable 54% from 3. But when it came down to it, it was Houston's ice-cold shooting from the free throw line that sealed the deal. Which really leaves you wondering, doesn't it? For the Wizards, is this just another tough, heartbreaking loss? Or did they find something here? Is this their path forward? Just launch a ton of threes and see what happens? It's definitely something to chew on.